Okay, hey, if you're checking out this video, it's because you've expressed interest in purchasing this thinking of my Honda 1996. No, the Yamaha is a 2002 Yamaha R6. Um, I don't know how many owners this bike has had, right? I'm just going to walk around it slowly and then I'll point out some of the imperfections on it because it is a 19-year-old bike, and a 19-year-old anything is probably going to have some imperfections. Um, Mechanically speaking, this bike is sound. I didn't know how long I'd be riding this bike this season, but I knew that I was going to fix this bike up and ride it until somebody bought it. So because my ass was going to be planted right there, I went through and I changed all the fluids. I know the previous owner changed out the stator. It's got a new battery. It's got fresh brake fluid. I have fresh brake pads that I'm going to install this weekend unless somebody purchases the bike before then. It's got a new oil change on it. Chain's been cleaned up and lubed. Fresh rebuild on the carburetors, pulled them out, cleaned out everything, all the jets, reinstalled them. They are installed properly, got fresh spark plugs in there. Yeah, just everything that I could get my hands on to go through this bike, because I figured I'd probably be riding it for at least a month or so before somebody bought it. I went ahead and just did it because otherwise I didn't expect to be able to get a decent price for it, because nobody wants to buy somebody else's junk. It had an old school, like 3-foot long exhaust on it. I got rid of that because it doesn't look very modern. I put this shorty exhaust on it, which unfortunately is extremely loud, but some people might like that. And it doesn't have a baffle. It doesn't bother me. I usually ride with earplugs in. I took the rear sets off because I never ride with a passenger. However, I do have the rear sets and they will come with the bike. There's a couple of nicks, here and there. This piece of plastic's been chipped off by somebody who didn't know how to remove the fairings. One of the previous owners, I don't know if you can see that, at some point obviously downed this bike, which is probably why the belly pan fairings are black. Stock from the factory, this bike, I 100% guarantee you, had all blue fairings. But the black belly pan fairings, the carbon fiber front fender, and then this black part of the headlight assembly, I think it mixes really well. It doesn't look, I think it looks really nice actually, in my opinion, but who cares about that? Yeah, so 19-year-old bike is going to have some spots on it here and there. It's going to have, little nicks from, being ridden. It's a motorcycle. It's meant to be going down the road. This isn't a show bike. This is a bike that would be great to learn on if you're upgrading from a smaller displacement bike. This would be a great bike to take to the track if you want to look for a track bike. If this is your first bike, be respectful of it. It has 100 horsepower staying still, and it has around 120 horsepower thanks to this Yamaha's Ram Air system. And you can take the red line on this thing all the way up to 15,000 RPMs. I don't know if you can see that. That's a 14, that's a 15, and that's a 16 right there. And that tack goes all the way up there. So yeah, pretty insane, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just old, and but I mean, this bike's like 400 pounds, 100 some odd freaking horsepower. That's just a stupid amount of power given the weight. Very nimble. I like riding it a lot. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a great bike for the price point. And honestly, if I wasn't fixing this bike, this is my new project bike, then I'd probably keep it. I'm only selling this bike to pay for parts on that bike, which I love a lot more than this thing because for various reasons, but we won't get into that. This is the bike for sale, not the Honda. So yeah, there's a couple of chips and nicks here and there, but ultimately this is a great bike for the price point. I would buy it, and I know a lot of other people are interested in it. You see, you got these nice bright HIDs on the low beams. It has the Ram phone mount. It's got the exhaust. The tail's been cleaned up. The only negative thing that I can see, in my opinion, is just these rims. This is the stock rims that came with the bike, and I don't know if you can tell in this video, but the chrome is peeling off, and I just did not have the time to strip the chrome off and paint them and whatnot. If I owned the bike, then I would probably, do that in the winter. Take the rims off, strip them down, paint them some cool color, like maybe gold or white would look really good on this. I don't know. You decide. The Lucky Rabbit's foot, it comes with the bike, right? So I'll go ahead and I'll start it up. If you have any questions, just send me a message, and let's let her rip. Put the choke on a little bit. She's cold. She hasn't been started today. Like I said, carbureted bike, but once they warm up, they stay running all day long. All right, that's that. Be sure to message me if you have any more questions, and hopefully we can do some business.